Hey, what is up? How are you? I'm Mel. This is my 2022 inventory and 2023 makeup library video. This is going over my 9-pan palettes and my 7-pan palettes. Apparently, I don't have any 8-pan palettes, so I'm just going to be doing 9 and 7. And I'm refilming this out of cinematic mode because it just doesn't want to focus and show you shades. So moving right along, let's talk about the Huda Beauty Mauve Obsessions. This is going on the chopping block because I never remember to use it, but last I checked, this still performs fine. And I guess the issue is too that this kept me from buying retro most of the year, and then in the end, when I was able to get retro for very inexpensive, I jumped on it and did. I've had this since 2019. It has paid $12.50 for this palette. I used it twice in 2022, twice in 2021, and quite a bit in 2019 and 2020 when I first got it. Didn't have a lot of makeup in 2019. I accumulated a lot starting in 2020. So anyway, it's on the chopping block. I need to see how well it works. Its swatch is fine, but I don't know if it really works on the eye really well. And the same is for Topaz Obsessions from Huda. And sorry, I just hit my mic. But I used this twice in 2021. I set it out to use it in 2022 and then never did actually use this. So it's got to go on the chopping block. I need to figure it out. Again, I don't know how much I used it in 2019 and 2020. I paid $12.50 for it. And I love the color story. And I used to love the formula. I just need to figure it out. Again, I'm not trying to get down to a certain number, but I really want to remember what I have. So those are 9-pan palettes. These two are definitely staying. They're not on the chopping block at all. These are from Ciate. This first one is burnt, and it's really cute. One of my daughters has already put a note on the back that if I declutter it, she gets to have it. So we have a duochrome in the center. It's very smooth, old school, 2020 and before, like more like 2018 duochromes. They were more smooth, less chunky, less impactful, especially for mainstream brands. Just like Huda, Ciate does a formula that is made in Italy, and they do a formula that is made in China. So those little Obsessions palettes are PRC. Their larger Huda palettes are Italy, and Ciate the same thing. This is their Italian formula, and it's beautiful. It performs great. This was a gift. I really wanted the second one, and this was sent to me, I think just in 2021. Yeah, in 2021, my friend Jenny sent this to me from England. It was incredibly generous of her, and I couldn't be more grateful. It's just quite a surprise and very sweet of her. I also have Astrolights Jeweled, which is the same series, but this is the berry palette. I've had this for a long time. This one actually came in a subscription bag, and I put down that I paid $20 for this because the subscription bag with all of its contents was probably close to $30. And the way I do that is that if I get a subscription, I make whatever products come out of it that I don't keep equals 0, and whatever I do keep equals the value of the bag divided up. So, for instance, if I keep a cream or anything in a tube, I automatically make it like 10. And if I get I think in this case, I kept a mascara and a palette, so the mascara was 10 and the palette was 20. So I hope that makes sense, but I do want to account for those costs because they do exist. I used this twice in 2021, 5 times in 2022, and I don't know before that because I didn't track uses back then. One of the things that's really nice as well is, I don't know if you can see, I think you can, the palette underneath is a little bit orange, and the palette on top is a little bit pink. So the one underneath is burnt, and the one on top is jeweled. So even though the packaging is the same, I can actually tell the difference between them, and I really think that was a smart design choice. From the side, when you're looking at them hollow, you can't actually tell, but when you lay them down, you certainly can. So I think you can see that too, that we have burnt and jeweled. So really good, creative design there. I really love those. Next, let's get into 9-pan palettes. Let's start with, 7-pan palettes. That's it for 9. There are no 8-pan palettes. I don't own any. Let's talk about 7-pan palettes. So the only brand I have ever found that makes a 7-pan palette is Marc Jacobs. And these are so fun because each shade actually makes a sentence. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but it's take a memo. Next season, we'll see pleather python making a scene enviously everywhere. Super cute. And this is the iconic palette in editorial. Love this palette. Picked this up in 2020, used it 5 times in 2020, 3 times in 2021, didn't use it in 2022. Don't know why I marked usage on this. I wasn't doing that back then, but I totally did. It's so weird. I don't know why I did, but, so yeah, I've used this like 8 times. I paid $25 for it. Now I have the Post-it note on the bottom. It doesn't really fit on the inside. I need to get some Post-it strips maybe or something like that. But I would like to get all of my 25 uses out of this, but this is a favorite. This one really replaced Subculture for me because it's grungy, but it's so much more blendable. And the Marc Jacobs formula really like blends itself. So I won't be getting rid of any of my Marc Jacobs. I'm just going to show each of them to you. This one was also $25. This is Stiletto. This was really hard to find. I because it was out and the brand was going under and everyone wanted it. But this one right here, you can see I broke the second shade in just in like the last week because if these fall, they break. And so this is Stiletto, and in case you care, this one says, rule the concrete jungle sidewalks, become sparkling catwalks. I don't know. Or maybe it's rule the concrete jungle sidewalks, become sparkling catwalks. I don't know. Sometimes sentences are better done than others. But this is a cool-toned palette. The other one was very warm. I like both. They both work on me. My skin is olive, and it all just depends on what you do with lip and cheek and things like that. So I think those are both really nice. The next one, this is actually one of my favorites. I love the striped packaging so much. And this is the iconic palette, Extravagance. And it says, at last I have found the one, the only, true love. Isn't that cute? And I dropped and broke again. These are soft. They blend themselves. And back when I originally got this, I was using my bathroom more, and I dropped this on my bathroom floor, I think. But the other one, I just dropped it on a hard table. But I love this palette. This is still one of the best palettes ever. It's a top favorite palette. I love it, love it, love it. So those are there. Then in 2022, at the beginning of the year, I had a friend, the friend that got me jeweled actually. Burnt. And I sent her makeup in England, and I sent makeup to friends in Canada. And then something weird happened with shipping. I'm sure if you're in England, you know, it became stupid expensive. And when all the Marc Jacobs stuff was disappearing, she really wanted this palette. And this is called Cold Brew. I love it. It looks like, marble or cold coffee and milk. It's beautiful. So I picked this up for her, and the clasp is broken. And so she did not mind that. But then shipping was so expensive, I could not mail it to her because she couldn't afford to pay the shipping. And I couldn't afford to just be out the shipping. And it was so frustrating for both of us. And I contacted her recently and said, because she said, well, maybe I'll wait and then get some Sydney Grace or something else. And she said, I just can't do it. I would like to, but I just can't get it. And so I haven't touched this. I haven't swatched this, but I am going to just go ahead, keep it, and use it. And this is going to go in my Getting to Know You makeup for January. And I'm excited to get to know it. I'm really sad that it didn't work out for her. She really did want it, and she's a really wonderful woman and a good makeup friend. So I'm bummed that shipping things internationally is so stupid expensive, and it really is stupid. It just, there's no reason for that to be taxed so highly. All right, so let's get into the final. As I said before, there aren't any 8-pan palettes. I just don't have any, but I have a couple of these, and you might be looking at those and going, those are Eye and Cheek palettes, and they're 6 pans. These are not. These are 7-pan. Oh no, the dog. Okay, so this is a tradition. My dog barks at my husband in the evenings. He loves to bark at him, and I apologize. But anyway, I'm going to show you these. This is the incandescent copper and incandescent glow. I believe it's just called incandescent glow and copper glow. I'm sorry, incandescent glow and copper glow. So copper glow and incandescent glow. These are supposed to be 6-pan eyeshadow with the 7th being a highlight. And I have had people come for me online, but these are not, they are not as represented. And I'm going to go ahead and show them to you. And I'm actually filming today specifically in regular so that you can see these, because when you do cinematic, you cannot. Do you see this? This is like the glitteriest highlight ever. And it's duochrome. So it's peach, it's pink, and it is glittery. Even tonight being New Year's Eve, the copper, if your skin is deep enough, is actually a good highlight. You could wear the copper. Let me swatch the copper for you on my hand as I lose the... So this is the copper. So it's glittery, but it's not, something that, like when I tilt it down, it looks kind of like a bruise. It's not, it catches the light nice this way, but not this way. So that's kind of the rule of thumb, that it just ends up, or like dirty, kind of makes it look dirty. So then this one, the duochrome, it's like a sheer glitter, but I'm not complaining about them from the perspective of them being a bad product. They're just marketed incorrectly. These are actually, in my opinion, like very much like a Pat McGrath amazing duochrome topper type shade. They're still great, but it's a 7-pan eyeshadow palette with the biggest topper ever. Like, it's such a huge pan, but it's still really nice. And then this one, I really love all of the shades except the 2 reds. So these 2 are fabulous. This bronze is amazing. And then this sort of purpley shade. Really, really nice palettes. And I enjoy them. I get a lot of use out of them, but I just treat them as 7-pan eyeshadows. So I paid $47 for the Copper Glow. And I've used this 5 times. I definitely am going to use this a lot more. And I paid $41 for Incandescent. And I've actually used this palette 11 times. Because when it came in, I just started going to town using it like this. So I do want to spend a little bit more time getting to know Copper more. Copper is the one that I really wanted to get my hands on. The bronze shade on the left is just like sort of, it's such an amazing neutral. And then the gold is like in between a copper and a bronze, and it's really great also. So super nice palettes. Both of these are great. Both of them are staying. They're just not eye and cheek palettes in my opinion. They're eye palettes. So that's it for me. I hope you have a really great night and a happy new year, and I will see you in my next video. Let me know below, how many palettes do you own with 9 pans and 7 pans, and do you own any 8-pan palettes? What brands do you know that make 7-pan palettes? Those are both really rare. We see a lot of 9 pans and such. Oh, and then I did want to just make another little side note comment. I do have some 9-pan palettes from Sydney Grace, but I've actually depotted all of them and they're in my single collection. So they're all wonderful and they're not going anywhere, but they're just depotted at this point. Again, decluttering isn't my goal in life. It's just, I want to get down to the things that I really like and that I will use and then rotate through all of those. So that's it for me tonight. I hope you have a great night and Happy New Year, like I said, and I'll see you in the next one.